Hey, good morning everyone, Tractorman 44 here. Hey, I'm going to pass a little tip on to you today. I bet a lot of you guys hadn't even thought about doing this. I've been doing it for years. You know, when you break your favorite tool or you find a broken tool that somebody's thrown away, depending on what the tool is, there is definitely some potential in that tool. On the job site, I used to find crescent wrenches that they had lost the adjusting screw out of. I found them all the time, all the way from little bitty guys all the way up to great big guys. So what you can do, just take for example this crescent wrench right here. This is a 12-inch Chinese-made crescent wrench. If you look right here, you can see a weld bead right here. Turn around the back side, you can see I actually welded that end up there and just put a little bit of a blob over here. Not super pretty, but still, it doesn't really have to hold anything. But take these old crescent wrenches and put whatever size nut that you want to make it fit, make it an open-end wrench. Set that nut in there with just a little bitty shim, just a really thin shim to give it that much of a play to slide onto the nut. Weld it up, and then just hang it on the back of whatever tractor that you're using that you made that adjustment part, or on an implement or whatever. Just use some baling wire and tie it on there, and it's there every time you need it, every time you hook onto it. And it doesn't cost you a dime because it was discarded and broken. So that's the particular tip of the day. I've got a half a dozen of these things hanging off the back of different tractors and equipment. Serves me quite well. What made me think of that old wrench right there was the fact that I'm changing this tire on that 430 case, and I broke the end right off of my favorite tire tool. This is a long one here. It's 30-inch, I guess, or whatever. They're not exceptionally high quality. It's from the local farm store, and this would bend occasionally, but it doesn't matter. I'd always straighten back out and keep using it. But yesterday I broke the end off of it at an angle about 1.25 inches. So I beveled both pieces all the way down to almost nothing, and then filled it back up with 70-18. I'm going to go ahead and clean this up a little bit and show you what the finished product can look like. But there's no reason to throw this thing away simply because you broke the end off of it. Now the way I ground the two halves down to a point right in the center, this thing's got essentially it's got 100% penetration. So, and that's a 70-18. So that portion right there is going to be actually the strongest point, I think, of the whole thing. The rest of it's still going to be softened, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to go ahead and clean this up the rest of the way. Be right back. Okay, so here's the finished repair right here. You can see there's a little bit of that's probably a little bit of undercut, you know, on the other side of the weld. The same with this over here. But you know what? Not absolutely perfect. We're not building something for the Smithsonian. We're just trying to get the job done for the day. So the next time you break something, break a wrench or a tool or something like that, give a little second thought about what you might be able to do to fix it and use it. Might be a little bit more light duty when you get done with it, but it doesn't matter. It's functional and it'll do just a fine job for the most part. I've buried several of these out here on the property. You know, get ripped off out in the woods or whatever, you know, pull the wires off, you know, and just bury it out there. But I haven't seen any crescent trees growing lately, so I guess eventually they'll turn up. Things do turn up every now and then, but not yet one of these. But I think I've only lost 2. At any rate, we're going to go ahead on about the business of taking this tire the rest of the way apart, and hopefully this guy here will stay intact. And you know what? This is Tractorman 44. That's my tip of the day. We're out of here, guys.